Greetings, darlings. I am Cassandra George Sturgis. Welcome to part 2 on how to make this bead jointed cloth doll. In this video, I am going to show you how to sculpt the upper and lower portion of the doll's body in addition to adding the beads. Thank you so much for watching. I am taking the needle in through the side seam because I don't want it to show, and then I'm going to take it to the middle of the upper portion of her body, as you can see. And once I find what feels like the middle to me, I am taking the thread around to form the doll's bosom, as you can see. So I'm taking the needle, there we go, and see, I'm taking the thread, and this thread is sculpting the doll's upper portion of her body. And then I go around a few times. You know, it depends on the doll. Like for me, it's a feeling. I know some people would say do it 2 or 3 times, but you do it until it feels taut and it doesn't feel like it's going to come loose. But usually that's going to be around 2 or 3 times, depending on the doll and the fabric that you choose to use. I am using the needle to reshape the doll's bosom, and when you are sculpting with your needle, you'll do that a lot. I mean, it looks like I'm being really rough because the video has been sped up, but I'm really being gentle. So I'm just taking the needle under the fiberfill and to push it back in place. So now I took the needle back through the side seam to the middle, and I took the thread up under the bosom and back through the side on the other side and through the middle to form the thread under the doll's bosom. Now, I really liked it with or without the thread under the bosom. For some dolls, I don't use the thread under, but it gives it a little bit more shape, and sometimes depending on the outfit that you choose for the doll, that's how you'll make that decision. But for a lot of times I choose not to do it. I am ladder stitching the tips of the torso just a little bit to keep the fiberfill in. But before I sew the bottom, because I like to leave an opening for myself in case I want to go in and readjust my fiberfill, I am going to stick the needle at the very bottom of the doll, like at the very bottom of the torso, as you can see. And I'm going to take it up right to where I think the navel should be. As you can see, I am pushing, there we go. So I'm pushing the needle in, and I am going to form the buttocks, and we're going to do exactly like we did to create the bosom. So I'm going back underneath at the very bottom of the doll, and the thread is going to form each cheek, and we're going to go around at least 2 or 3 times until it feels nice and taut. And we're going to use that same thread to form the doll's navel. So right now I'm just adjusting myself, putting cotton in, forming, shaping the buttocks. I am now going in through the back, and I'm going to find the center for the doll's navel. As you can see here, I'm pulling the thread through and back. I'm sending it, back to the back, pulling it back to the back. As you can see, we're going back in again. You see how we're forming the indentation for the doll's navel? Oh, that's a beauty. Okay, and you're going to pull it tight. So what I'm really doing, which I'm not able to show you, is I'm making a little small stitch in the shape of an X, so or maybe a cross. And you just go back down to the bottom again because you want everything to stay nicely in place. And I pull it tight, and there we go. I am adjusting the fiberfill in the bottom before I ladder stitch it together, And again, I like to keep an opening until I'm really happy with the shape of the doll's body. So here I am, I'm taking some of the fiberfill out, but you'll see me adding and taking away until it just feels right. I am now ladder stitching the portion of the doll's torso where the legs will go. So I want to tell you to keep in mind that you want to make sure that the points are there, because those points are the anchors for the thread for the beads. And without those anchors, it's not going to have that nice finished look. So now that I am ladder stitching the bottom portion of where the legs go on the doll's torso, I want you to keep in mind that sometimes when you're making a doll, things start to look a little weird, but I have found that they want to be born. I know that sounds a little crazy, but what that means is that it is going to work out. So just keep going, ladder stitch it, do both sides, and it'll all come together for you. I am now going to ladder stitch the other side of the doll's leg. Oh, look at that. Look at those beautiful points. I just love this torso. So now she is ready for her beads. I am taking the needle and thread through the point, then through the wood bead, and then through the other point and back through the bead and through the point and back and forth until it's nice and taut. You may also use pony beads from the beauty supply store. The little beads that you put into little girls' hair, those work like a charm because they have a nice wide opening. Even though I have some beads with smaller openings, they can be very difficult to attach the limbs to. The wood beads inspired me to make this doll. Like, the beads are so beautiful. This wood bead against the dark brown fabric, I just think it's gorgeous. So as you can see, again, I went through the point, through the wood bead, back and forth, and we'll do the bottom the same as well. I am using a different type of wood bead for the bottom of her torso because the legs are bigger than the arms and I needed a bigger joint. So these are a little bit bigger, but they still have a wide opening, so they work as well, and I think they're really beautiful. As you can see, I am using the same process to attach the wood bead to the bottom of the doll's torso. Again, the points to me are very important because I like for things to have a polished look. As you can see, there are 2 tabs at the bottom, very bottom of the doll's torso, one for each leg. I think that is very important. We are coming to a close on part 2 on how to make this bead jointed cloth doll. In part 3, I am going to go over how to attach your doll's arms to her torso using the beads. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next project.